Let's call the Pipestone City Council meeting for February 2nd to order, please. Could I have a roll call?
Mayor Delaney?
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt?
Here.
Councilmember Thompson? Here. Councilmember Swanson?
Here.
Councilmember Colbeck?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any additions, changes, or deletions to our agenda? And I do have one change. We had a request from Donna Moore. She was unable to attend tonight, and we want to reschedule her presentation until February 17th. So I would remove item A from new business. Item A from new business. And any other changes or deletions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda with that change.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say no, and motion carries. The consent agenda. That contains the January 24th, 2026 special meeting minutes, the January 20th, 2026 regular meeting minutes, the payment of claims, listing of bills, and I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Community concerns is next on our agenda. Did we have anyone sign in for community concerns, Stephanie, or?
Nobody is signed in tonight.
Okay, all right, so we'll move on to legal, and that's the introduction of ordinance number 171 4th series. And this ordinance for the city of Pipestone amends chapter 30 of the Pipestone City Code regarding the administration of city staff. The city council and the city staff conducted a review of the current duties and responsibilities of the city council and personnel committee and the city administrator with regards to the administration of city employees, including city department heads. Upon completing its review, the city council determined that it would be in the best interest of the city to update and amend this personnel policy and ordinances to provide clarity with regard to duties and responsibilities of the city council, the personnel committee, and the city administrator in the administration of city employees, including department heads. And I will introduce this ordinance at this time. For new business, we have review of the AWAR code enforcement software. And I hope I pronounced that right. It's IWORQ.
iWork?
iWork?
I think so.
iWork, okay. And your packet included some information on it. This program could be accessed and utilized by all city departments. It's something that Justin would like to see so that he can actually issue citations, keep track of citations, complaints on everything that he's doing. And it's approximately $9,000. And it's for building and zoning budget, does have some funding available. There's a one-time fee of $5,400 and then an annual fee of $3,250. But I think it brings us up to the 21st century. It brings us up to the software that's needed to monitor these things. We hear a lot of complaints about blight and issues in the community. It seems like they're not getting done. Well, they are. It's just a lengthy process and it takes some time, but this will assist that process and hopefully shorten up the time frame on some of those issues as best we can, and at least have documentation of what we're doing. And for future councils and future people that are involved with the city, they can see what work has been done. So I think it's a good idea. I'd entertain a motion for approval of the purchase of that GIS map system and the citation system.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Appointment of the building maintenance technician, and we know that Bob retired, and he had a very good retirement party here just the other day. And so we're recommending we promote Eric Carstensen to the Public Works Operator. He is a Public Works Operator to that position of building maintenance technician. I'd entertain a motion for that, and that would be at grade 10, step 2 of the city's current pay plan.
So moved.
Second.
Then moved and seconded. And also, for the record, that would take place on January 31st of this year. Goes back to then. Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. We also approved classification recommendation for the city clerk position, and we had on January 2nd, Megan DeWitt was appointed to that position. And this would place her on the pay scale as recommended by David Drown and Associates at grade 15, step 1. And I'd entertain a motion to do that, and that's would take effect as of 1/1/26.
I so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no, and motion carries. Next up is the council liaison reports, and Roger, I'll just start out with you. Just a brief summary on any reports that you were mentioning were at.
January 13th, we had a airport commission meeting. And I'm just going through the highlights of that meeting. The hangar that they're working on right now has been suspended due to the weather, and they'll resume again in the spring, and they anticipate being ready for occupancy this summer. The fuel system replacement, we got some grant funding for the replacement of both systems. It's going to be a $1 million cost, and it'll be 60%, 40% will be our share of that cost. It'll be a new 10,000 gallon, 100 low lead and a 5,000 gallon Tit A tank. The design will begin after the site selection, because the site selection goes along with their master plan on where they may position if they, down the line. They have to have a plan to present that like 100 years down the line, so we don't put the tanks in and then they have to be moved again or something like that because they're in the way of a hangar or a runway gets moved or something like that. So so that's the next item. They were working on the master plan to give to the FAA, and so they'll continue working on that. And another thing Rob talked about, that they'd like to start maybe a flight school operation out to the airport. So that was the highlights of the meeting, pretty much a planning meeting. So also we had a meeting for the Fire Department Relief Association. That was last month, and my next meeting is going to be tomorrow. So, okay. But they had new officers that got elected after the meeting. They went through the financials. There wasn't any new business, but the new officers for the relief are Jordan Hess, Austin Carpenter, Dave Swenson, Brian Terry Smith, and Tylen Vanderwall. So, and next time I'll have more information for you from tomorrow night's meeting. So, okay, that's the ones that I worked on this month.
Just a quick comment on your meeting there with the airport, and they're thinking about starting a program for flight school. And I wonder if that's something that we as a city could contact the Minnesota West and see if we could coordinate with them a little bit, if that's something they would be interested in. And we have the facility and the instructors, and if they coordinate some students there, that might be an option it's good for both the school district and the city. So
possibility.
Yeah, something to think about. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Roger. Scott.
We met with the utility committee, and these are some items that we went over with that. We talked about the lead water line replacement program, which is grant funded, that'll be started this summer. The continuation of the sewer service replacement program that we've been doing for the last several years. We talked briefly about the 2026 street and utility project for this year, and everything is at this point good to go and ready to go out for bids in end of March or early April. And then we talked briefly about the street maintenance program that's being implemented and sidewalk maintenance program. So it'll be implemented early this summer. And then the Safe Routes to School sidewalk program, which has been bid out and will take place this summer out on the northwest corner of town. And that's just some of the things we talked about at our last meeting.
Okay. We'll go right down the list.
Okay.
Go ahead, Verdine.
Law enforcement met on the 12th, mostly discussed our dynamic braking policy, getting that in the hands of our law enforcement so that they can take care of that. Then on 26th of January, the Hiawatha Park and Pageant Commission met. Mostly went over the finances of the last year. Looked like every month we were a little above breaking even. So we're going to meet again next Monday and go over the 5-year plan.
Okay. Thank you. Danielle.
Rec board, we did not have a quorum last month, so we did not hold a meeting. That'll actually be next week. And library board already reported on that, and that next meeting is this week. So
Okay, all right. Well, I had 5 commission meetings to go to in January. 3 of them were on the 14th. And one of them was the utility commission meeting that Scott had mentioned. He was there also. And and we also talked a little bit about the mold tests at the city hall, and everything came out okay on that test. So that was a good information to hear on city hall. And then we also had our North Hiawatha update a little bit, and we still have some hurdles to get through there. But we'll see how that plays out. That is a goal that we have as far as utilizing that property for industrial or for other types of commercial use. But we'll have to see how that plays out yet. So we're still working on it. Planning Commission, again, we did meet on the 14th and had approved a conditional use permit, but for Leonardo Salazar, and that's Rico's Tacos at 114 8th Avenue Southeast. We since found out that conditional use permit wouldn't be eligible to be there as a multi-use building having apartments in there, so that was not presented to the council then. But he's still moving ahead with his proposed restaurant there and some updates, put in a couple of windows and a door and a wall in that building yet, so that continues. We also, I was also at the law enforcement liaison meeting, and we found out that the dynamic braking ordinance that we just had developed by our city attorney and had approved, we need to get that updated into the court system so that the courts electronically can recognize that code and the deputies can go ahead electronically issue citations if they see a violation of that. And that's all set at the court level. We don't have anything to do with the fines or anything like that. I just want to make it clear that we're not talking about this to try to generate fines or income. This is simply a problem that we've had for several years and several complaints from the public on the loud noises that those semis can make with their dynamic braking. And so we're hoping to reduce or eliminate that. I know that saying eliminated probably will never happen, but we certainly want to try to reduce that. And yeah, the county board representatives weren't able to attend, but we had one commissioner attend by phone. And so we really weren't able to conduct any business. We just didn't have a quorum. So, but we did decide that we want to continue to meet, and we're going to meet every other month on that second Monday in the afternoon, and try to get some more folks there to just discuss law enforcement issues occasionally. Okay, so then where else was I? Oh, the Human Rights Commission, they met on the 20th, but that was the same time as our council meeting because we had to back it up a day because of the holiday. And so I was unable to attend that meeting, but they would like to see some changes in the ordinance to eliminate or change their bylaws, because we had to establish an ordinance to establish the Human Rights Commission. And that was done probably about 6-7 years ago, I'm guessing. I don't have the exact date, but they've never really been able to come together on bylaws. And now the general trend is, why do we need bylaws when no other commission has bylaws? And so, good question, but we need to have our council, our city attorney review that ordinance and see what we need to have as a city to make sure that we're covered. And then we'll go back with a presentation to the Human Rights Commission. And there's a lot of concern with that commission and everything that's been going on in the state of Minnesota lately, and the concerns that are out there. And I just want people to know that they should try to feel safe in their community. And if they don't feel safe, there's avenues there. They need to come and talk to professionals at the city or county level to assist. So that's so important, that people feel safe in their community. And that's what that commission is mainly about. Okay, so I think I got through everything that I have listed here. All right. Let me get back to our agenda. Well, I guess on our personnel committee too, we were talking about that introduction of that ordinance. And we had a very good personnel committee meeting. And we had brought in 3 main department heads to that meeting, myself and Scott and Stephanie. And long story short, after quite a bit of discussion and talking, I came to the conclusion that, hey, as a council, we don't want to micromanage our department heads. And the policies as far as using city vehicles, for just as an example, that's something that a department head and the city administrator should be discussing and coming up with a plan. And what our goal is at the council level is to make sure things are working as efficiently as they can, and we got to keep track of the dollars. And so when we approve a budget for a department head, our job is done at that point. Then it's up to the department head and the city administration to make sure that those funds are being spent correctly and as wisely as they can. So that's what I took from that conversation, and I think that's a good way to operate. And with that being said, that's all I have for the meetings that I attended. Any closing comments from anyone? No. Okay.
Make motion.
Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed say no. And motion carries.